Hey guys, welcome back. It's time. We haven't discussed CGC in probably a few days, so at this point it's only right that we go back in and take a look at another conflict, another thing that's going on, another thing that is a little bit on the ironic side. Today we're talking about CGC confiscating. I don't know if they have the right to do that, but they're confiscating cards that are reported stolen. So if you send something in, let's say you got one of those sweet, nasty blue labels that are vintage now, don't worry, CGC will not change the labels every couple years, and you'll have to send everything back in at $5 a piece plus shipping. Don't worry about that. It's for the best. They knew what they were doing. They were so confident in their ability to do what they do and say what they do. Do the do. They were doing what they were supposed to be doing, but at the same time had to change their grading scale, the look of their labels and cases and everything else. So just take that as you will. That's for another day. What we're talking about today is the fact that you can send a card in, and maybe you don't know it's stolen. Maybe when you purchase that card, you check the website, you check the cert number, and voila, it wasn't stolen then. But maybe a year later, maybe the majority of a year later, it's marked as stolen. You don't check. You go to send your card in because it's a blue label. You don't like blue labels anymore. You're a CGC black label fan. No, not PGS black labels. We're talking CGC black labels. The new labels that are always black unless they're not black because they're nice and sleek. That's what they say. Unless you want the gaudy gold one. The gold one, that's special. So again, it's supposed to be more noticeable because it's more special, even though the whole premise of changing the labels was to make them less, distracting from the card itself. I know you can't make this stuff up, but what we're doing today, you have someone that reached out to me and they had exactly this happen. Now, normally, yes, I think that the grading companies, in the best interest of everyone involved, themselves and everyone else, they should not grade stolen cards. And yes, CGC does grade stolen cards. Knowingly grade stolen cards. We've seen it in the past. We got DMs, we got screenshots showing that they knew stuff was stolen. They knew stuff that was likely stolen. They still graded it. They didn't call it stolen though. It's okay. They labeled it as inadvertent early release, and they said that it was okay with their lawyer. They only authenticate and grade cards. That's it. So surely, a little bit hypocritical for them to seize cards that are reported stolen. You can submit cards. You can have stolen cards. You could steal them yourself. You could steal them, sell them to someone else. They can send them in. As long as they're stolen from the factory, I guess that's fair game. But if they're not stolen from the factory and it's after you purchase them, they're going to take it. They're just going to take it from you. So let's get into it here. I'm going to read off what the person sent me. Thank you very much to Jamie for sharing this with me. Again, I think that the actions taken in this whole process, for the record, before we get into it, by CGC are not the appropriate ones, or not the best course of action. Yes, I think there needs to be some sort of investigation done so that the original person who had their goods stolen or lost can get compensated for them if it's possible to find out who actually stole them. Now, punishing somebody down the line who paid for this, probably not the way to go. And before we get into this, if anyone knows how PSA works, they'll do the same thing. Well, no, they won't do the same thing. If you send in, let's say you got a stolen card, you don't realize it's stolen, you send it in for a recase. Maybe it goes through the eBay authenticity guarantee, and it comes up, oopsie doopsie, stolen. They have to send that card back to you. They will take it out of the slab, and they'll say, hey, this was reported stolen. But unless they have an actual report from the police, from the FBI, they are not allowed to seize that card. They need a seizure warrant of some kind in order to do that. Now, whether or not CGC has that, they did not present one, so I'm assuming that they don't. It's also really weird that you're going to not only seize the card, it says reported stole. I guess there was no room for an N on there. I don't understand these grading companies that abbreviate and or are missing letters off of shit that's on labels. That is, it's probably pretty important to put the N on there, I would think. It's a little bit easier to understand. But regardless, to send this back to somebody and have it on them, hey, you better call us. Please contact customer service. So there's no direct line. There's no hey, surely the person that submit this order had their phone number on there. And CGC could call them up and say, here's the situation. These were reported stolen or lost. I know you bought them. Here's the contact for the police. Can you please help them out with finding out who was involved, who owned it previously, where'd you get the card from, and trace it back to the person that stole it. That's the best course of action, because the person that should be punished in this instance, and any instance like this, is the person that actually stole it, not the person that bought it from someone that bought it from somebody that stole it. Are we clear on that? Anyway, this is going to be a very long video if we don't start reaming through the information here. So let's go to the first note here that was sent to me by Jamie, by the person that sent this in and received a piece of paper in exchange for their blue label slab. They wanted a black label slab. They got a piece of paper. He says, "Hi, Rattle. I'm not sure if you'll even see this or if you can help me, but I had a weird thing happen to me with CGC. I'm assuming I'm probably shit out of luck, but I wanted to see if you think anything could be done. I recently sent in 3 CGC Pristine 10s to CGC to get reholdered with the new label." Ooh, big mistake. CGC returned 2 of them to me with a piece of paper that said "Contact Customer Service" and a CGC label that instead of the grade said "Reported Stolen." I called CGC, and the customer service person said she didn't know anything and that she would have to, quotations, "talk to the card people," end quotations. Okay, great start. She said she would get back to me, but I haven't heard anything yet. Now this is a $250 slab that I'm apparently just losing. I looked up the cert, and sure enough, it says "reported stolen / missing." I've had this slab for 9 months. I bought it in January from a buddy on Instagram. I talked to him, and he said he bought it on OfferUp and has no way of knowing who he bought it from. Okay, so this is where that information needs to be provided to CGC and or the authorities that contacted CGC to say that it was stolen, so they can find out who it was on OfferUp. It is very possible to do so. Yes, they're going to have to jump through some hoops. They're going to have to tuck their wiener and jump a couple fences, but they can get in there. If the authorities want to, they can go in there and they can find out who was selling it on OfferUp. Chances are the person that is probably the person that stole the cards. Voila, fix the issue. Make sure that person has to pay back whoever they stole from. If they can. Probably can't. If you're stealing Pokemon cards, you probably can't. No, not necessarily, but you probably can. Okay, back to the message here. When I bought the slab, I remember looking up the cert because I was looking at the pop, and it definitely did not say stolen at the time. That means it was probably reported after I bought it. It just all feels weird, the fact that CGC doesn't even contact you before your order is shipped back, and that they provide no explanation of anything, and they tell you to contact them. It feels like they stole a slab from me because I did nothing wrong here. I understand that if it's stolen property, it probably has to go back, but does CGC now send it back to the person who graded it? Couldn't someone just report it stolen because they want the slab back? I have no idea how that process works of reporting stolen slabs, but it feels pretty bad to lose a $250 slab just with no explanation. Thanks. So yes, it absolutely would feel bad. It definitely would feel bad for that to happen. I'm assuming and I'm hoping, my fingers and butthole are crossed, that CGC at least requires you to provide a police report. But even at that time, I don't think it's on them to necessarily take the card back. I think it should be handed over to the authorities in order for them to do something. Whether you have the customer information, the person that submitted the card back in, I think you should return the card to the person that sent it in to be recased. Someone is not sending this in. If it's a stolen card and they stole it, they're the ones that stole it, they're not sending it back in to get the blue label turned into a black label. That's just not happening. Why are they adding that extra step for little to no gain and potentially getting themselves caught? It's weird for them to even sell the card still within the case. Yes, criminals are dumb. They're going to do it from time to time. But to send something in to get it recased, criminals probably not doing that. Especially if it's somebody that's just looking to steal and flip some Pokemon cards that isn't necessarily in tune with what's going on in the hobby. They're kind of lucky that it was still in the case, regardless. And that's the thing, too. Was there insurance on it? Was it a shipment that was stolen? If it was a shipment that was stolen, was there insurance paid out on it? Because if there was insurance paid out on it, and or there was some kind of action taken against the person that actually stole it already, that's where you kind of have to hand that over to the authorities. That's why they need to look after it, not just CGC decides to swipe the card and send it back. Whether they're sending it back to the original person, whether they're sending it to the police, who will probably auction it off in some kind of stupid shit that they do every now and then. It's ridiculous. It's the lack of transparency here with someone who is probably going to be helpful, probably is going to help you trace back to where you need to trace back to find out who the actual criminal is here, and you're fucking them in the ass. CGC is pulling your pants down and fucking your ass, stealing your card. Yes, it is a stolen card. Sure. We'll give them the benefit of the doubt. And even then, they could just mark something stolen that's been sold a few times. And how do you know? How do you know it was legitimately stolen? How do we know there was a police report? How do we know that CGC has the right to take it away? That's what we're saying here. Yes, I think that actions should be taken in order to take down the original criminal, the person that was stealing the stuff. They should be held responsible. But there's a whole lot of factors here that need to be disclosed before you just take someone's card. Someone that was, clearly not involved. Unreal. Absolutely unreal. So Jamie says, yes, okay. So I have a little more information since I wrote this to you. I'll outline below. First this is what I got back in the box. So this is the bad boy here. The Tag Team GX Tag All-Stars Reds Challenge Pokemon 2019 Japanese. He says, I received a phone call from this woman, Shasta, at CGC. She was very nice and explained to me that this slab was part of a 300 card submission that was stolen by FedEx. So there you go. Stolen by FedEx, by a FedEx worker probably, that they can trace down. FedEx will have to pay this out. Not the person that ended up with the card 2 transactions later. Like, holy shit, guys. Like, this is, how is there not a whole department for this that there's an actual straight direct line to where it says, please contact theft and safety or some stupid shit, whatever they want to call the department. Like, how is there not just someone, there's the number, there's the direct line, extension, whatever, and contact them, or an email address at least, so that they can call you, or just somebody that reaches out to you instead of sending people a piece of paper. Like, holy moly, guys. When I asked her if the slab would go back to the original owner, she told me that the insurance had paid him out, so she wasn't sure who owned the slab. She told me she would need to speak with her boss and she would get back to me. This was on September 13th. She then followed up with emails. Here are all the correspondence I had with her. So we're going to take a look at that. But first off, I have to tell you about the hat that I'm wearing, the new hat that I'm wearing, the hat that you should not purchase. It is extremely expensive. It's New Era and it's custom. I'm not making anything on this, so don't feel like it's a reason that you need to buy it because you need to support the channel. It's not a good way to do that financially. It is cool if people have them, if people wear them, and I know that the few people that absolutely want one and don't care that it's an expensive hat are going to buy the hat and want to buy the hat and want the option to buy the hat. And I'm going to mention it in all the videos while the orders are open. While there's a sign up, I'll send you an invoice for it. They're custom, one time only, because they are fitted. You can get the snapback if you want, but the fitted hats. So I don't want an inventory of these. They're expensive. I want them for myself. I order a couple for myself. They're always more expensive than what they are here. That's the reason for it. They're available if you want them, but I'm telling you right now, don't buy them unless you really want one. That's it. That's all. There's going to be like 10 crybabies in the comment section here on Instagram that are like, what the hell? It's so expensive. Why is it not the $10 like my dad hats that I buy? I could customize that all day, every day. So again, little throwback CGC grading stolen cards, but now they're just holding stolen cards without providing information, seemingly without being helpful to anyone involved. It's not helpful for, like, you could easily have asked and got information from Jamie here who would lead you straight back to who made the purchase, who had it on offer up, and if the police haven't already taken the individual down, who is probably a FedEx employee, if it was stolen from FedEx, it should be pretty easy for them to trace back. Again, and no reason to punish Jamie for doing the right thing, providing information, and for actually making a purchase of the card. So if it was paid out, Jamie now gets shafted because it was stolen at one point in time and insurance paid for it. What a headache. This is the kind of like customer service shit that I expect from BGS, like the back and forth, like waste your fucking time every day, all day. This is the kind of stuff that I see from them. But now seeing it from CGC, when, again, these are the people that will grade your stolen cards. They don't care. Their lawyer said it's okay. They just grade the cards. It can be stolen. Keep that in mind. This whole time that we're looking at this shit, this is what we're dealing with. So they say, Shasta says, "Hi, Jamie. It was nice speaking with you a few minutes ago. I asked our accounting department to refund the reholder fee for this card. It might take a day or two to show up on your statement, depending on your bank. As soon as I speak with my boss, I'll let you know what he says. I'm sorry that happened. I'll keep you posted." Holy shit. So, you still charged them. You still charged them the $5 reholder fee. And that was the first step. It should have never been charged to begin with. You didn't reholder anything. It should have been immediately dealt with. Like, this is just immediately deal with it. This isn't like, oh, stick it on the back burner and hope that the customer reaches out and wants their card back or doesn't want. I guess maybe they're hoping they don't want it back. And then they can just hand it over to the original owner or keep it or the police or whatever they're going to do with it. We got, "Hi, Shasta. Unfortunately, no. The guy I purchased from told me..." Wait. We got to go opposite order. We got Shasta who says, "Hi, Jamie. Quick question. Does your friend still have the account information of the person he bought the cards from on OfferUp? Name/email/phone number? If so, would you mind passing that along to me? Thanks." I think here CGC should be more looking at actually contacting the person like that Jamie bought from, so that they could get it firsthand and screenshots and everything like that. Again, now they're going to rely on Jamie to do their job for them instead of saying, "Hey, can you put me in contact with the person you bought from so that I can talk to them and get the information from them firsthand." I would think that would be the proper way to do it. So Jamie here says, "Hi, Shasta. Unfortunately, no. The guy I purchased from told me it looks like the DMs on OfferUp delete after a while. He looked in there and couldn't find anything." "Hi, Jamie. I appreciate you asking your friend about it. I'll be in touch hopefully later today or tomorrow after speaking with my boss." Okay. Claims specialist. I guess maybe they're like a catch-all for like anything that gets lost or stolen or anything. You would think it'd be a different like fraud department or something like that. "Hi, Shasta. So my friend who I got the slab from just got a submission back with 2 slabs that didn't get it sent back. Looks like they were both probably part of that lot that was stolen. He had gotten a whole lot on OfferUp, just wanted to flag it. He reached out to customer service, but his submission number is CGC 07965000022. Let me know if you have any update. Thanks, Jamie." Shasta says, "Hi, Jamie. That order number isn't showing up. Can you please give me his name or email address, please? Thank you for letting me know." I can't imagine they got the wrong number there, but maybe. Shasta saying, "I can look him up by the last name. Thank you. I'll circle back to you on Tuesday as I'll be out of the office on Monday. Have a nice weekend." How cute. "Hello, is there any update here? Hi, I'm following up once again about this. I really feel that I am entitled to either my slab back or compensation from you. Please advise." That's the thing too. Like if it's a couple $100 and someone's going to help you track it back and resolve the issue, you should probably just pay him out the couple $100 if it looks like it does here, and he didn't actually steal the cards himself, and he just ended up with purchasing stolen goods. And cards will change hands a lot of times as time passes. Why this stuff, like when it was stolen, wasn't immediately flagged as stolen, is kind of that's kind of CGC's fault. It's kind of, I mean, it might be some combination of CGC's fault and the person that had their stuff stolen. Had it been originally flagged, then our boy Jamie here is not buying it. If he checks the cert, which you should always do before you buy graded cards, check the certs so that you don't end up with a mess on your hands. All right, Jamie says, "To me, I mentioned in the phone call the guy on Instagram who I had gotten the slab from. He is referenced in the emails. Also want to send along the conversation I had with the guy I bought the slab from while I traded for it technically." Here we go. We got, "Hey man, a while ago I traded you a Reds Challenge CGC Pristine 10 Japanese. I sent it into CGC to get the new label and they didn't send it back because it was reported as stolen. Do you know where you got the slab?" And they say, "I bought it on OfferUp." What they said, "What be stolen? What be stolen? What? I don't know yet. They have to get back to me. Slabs I have is either I graded it, got from PokeWizard, or OfferUp." Hopefully that's not the same PokeWizard. There's probably quite a few PokeWizards, is that right? "That's my slabs when I was starting on Whatnot and how they know it was stolen or going twice." Okay, I guess this is just naming off more places that they could have came from. "I don't know. I just got a note back saying to contact them and it said reported stolen." I'll let you know when I know more. Probably nothing I can do at this point. I'm just trying to figure out where it had come from. But how can we know it was stolen? Someone reported the cert stolen, I'm assuming. So the QR code will say it? It might. I'm going to look it up. Let me scan my slabs. I have a very few CGC now. I'm more on PSA. Yep. So there's a bunch of others out here that are floating around. And hopefully CGC will make the process a little bit easier. It should be enticing. There should be a good reason. Like if someone's going to shaft themselves for like sending in stolen goods, you should want people to send in the stolen goods so you can make it right for the customers. You want to make their experience as painless as possible. If something happened, if it was paid out, you as CGC need to already know what you're doing with this shit. Whether you're allowed to steal, not steal necessarily, whether you're allowed to hold or keep the slabs until you know what to do with them. This should all be preemptively determined. Whether or not you need to put something in your system, then when somebody calls in with one of those slabs, the stolen ones, or somebody sends one in, that you can get the information from them, that you can pass it along, and that you have some way for that encourages them to do so. Whether you got to pay them out the couple $100, I know it sucks, CGC. You're gonna have to, convince some other people to send in some graded cards, send in some cards to be graded, and or charge some $5 over and over again for changing your labels every couple of years. But do what you have to make this right. Like, otherwise, like, people are fed up to the point that they reach out to me, and then we got to make a video about it because you're fucking up here. I'm like, I need to check every cert I buy now. Yeah, you definitely do. That's definitely a thing. Regardless, especially if it's any sort of value, a $200 card. Yeah, you should probably still check. I think, and then also just lends to the fact that you should be buying from somewhere that it can be traced back to whoever. Like OfferUp, probably a bad idea. Anywhere where people can be like sketchy, back alleys with friends and family payments and stuff like that, and or Venmos and cryptos and wiener dog exchanges, any of that stuff. Like, you got to be careful with that because you want to know who you bought something from in case anything goes wrong, whether or not they were the person that stole it. But if it needs to be traced back in any way, like this example, and it can easily happen to anyone. There's a bunch more cards apparently that were in that same submission that could, the same thing could happen. Somebody watching this video right now might have one. But that's the thing too. That's why CGC and the person that lost the cards needs to be super swift, super quick on reporting the card stolen, marking the card stolen on the website, so that when people do check when they buy it, they know if it's stolen or not. And it avoids extra steps. And it avoids a pissed off customer. Well, I don't know how pissed off they are. They seem like they're pretty upset about it. But maybe I'm more upset for them. That this is such a disaster and doesn't need to be. But I remember scanning that though, because I remember telling you the population of it. Maybe it was reported stolen after though, because that was back in January. Do you have any way of knowing who you bought it from on OfferUp? So maybe that's a pro tip there for CGC, for PSA, to actually show when it was reported stolen. Would be a good idea. That, or I mean, I guess if you have it registered to your collection, then it can like flag it and maybe send you an email and say, hey, that card that you bought, that you added to your collection in January is now stolen. Not that it should take that long for CGC to input that, for the person that lost the cards to input that. I get that maybe there needs to be an easier way to report that type of thing and mark it as that, and unmark it if all of a sudden it shows up. But again, we don't know the details on how the stolen stuff was stolen. If it was like the box arrived, but it was cut open and they put a bunch of dildos in there instead of the cards, yeah, you probably got shafted. But if it's just like a lost package that all of a sudden is not showing up, like maybe they're just waiting for it to show up and then they gave up and then they reported the stuff stolen. Again, it should be just like a very seamless process that is less of a headache. I mean, it's clearly it's a headache, but the amount of detail that we got to get into here. Do you have any way of knowing who you bought it from on OfferUp? They say, I tried searching, but I think a convo only lasts for a month. Okay, no worries. So you can't get the slab? Bro, I don't know. They said they will get back to me. How long did your reholder take? A few weeks, I think. All right, so here we have it. Here's the card. And it says reported stolen / missing. So like, that's even worse if it's something that can be like missing. I mean, clearly if someone owns it or has it at that point in time, this is all just, it just all needs to be handled before you take a card from someone is the biggest thing. That, or if you do take the card, at least be paying it out. It's not a $1 jillion card here. If we're talking a couple $100, just pay the fucking card out and avoid the entire hassle. And then if you want to take your time dealing with it, if you don't want to have certain staff that can deal with it right away, if you have to go ask a boss that has to ask another boss if they can go to the bathroom before they figure out, hey, what should we do with this? Should we just keep it forever? And then you can just tell the customer, hey, is it all right if we just pay out on it? This was reported stolen. We want to make sure that it gets back to the rightful owner. Then you can deal with the insurance and undoing of insurance that might have to happen. Maybe FedEx wants to own it if they're paying out on the insurance part of it and they want to auction it off or something. Who knows? I don't know. You seemingly don't know CGC. And for sure, your customer, Jamie, doesn't know either because it's just a giant mess. So I did tell Jamie to ask them if they had any kind of documentation, any kind of warrant or something like that to seize the card, because I'm pretty sure that's what it requires. Again, I'm not a legal dogger 69. I don't know exactly what the law enforcement recommendations and or requirements on that, but I'm pretty sure they can't just like keep your card. At least like without the FBI or law enforcement saying like, hey, you got to keep this, you got to seize it, and we'll figure out what to do with it. If you don't know what to do with it, you got to figure it out before you take it. Otherwise, you just look stupid. All right, guys, thanks for tuning in. Hopefully this was informative. Hopefully it was informative for both the people watching. I guess anyone that's looking to submit cards to grading, anyone that is buying graded cards, but also informative to CGC and any of the other grading companies that are looking to make their process a little less janky, because that's what we're looking at here. We're looking at a whole lot of jank, and again, it's weird, it's hypocritical, it's ironic, if you want to call it that, that we got the boys that grade stolen cards and don't care because it's okay. They talked to their lawyer and he said they only authenticate and grade cards, that's all. But here they are doing the exact opposite. So when do they pick and choose to F you in the B? Your guess is as good as mine, but it seems like it happened in this case. Hopefully it all gets resolved. If it was paid out, hopefully Jamie gets the card back. Hopefully the person that stole the stuff from FedEx gets punished for it greatly. Again, don't steal from work. You're going to get fucked. Stop. Please. If you work at the card factory, if you work at the recycling facility, if you work for a shipping company, do not steal from work. You will ruin your life. Don't do it. Just don't do it. Don't steal from Walmart. Don't steal from anyone. No one needs to steal. That's the moral of the story. Join the mother flipping Discord. I'll be, it's Saturday today when this should go up. So there is a happy hour chat if you would like to join. Everyone is more than welcome to do so. There's a voice and video chat in Discord. It usually goes most of the night. It's called Happy Hour, but it's usually much longer than an hour. Join the Discord. Come on in there. If you want to open cards, open cards. If you don't want to open cards and you want to watch people open cards, there's usually people opening cards. If there's something going on, if there's cool things to discuss, we can do all of that. It's the best way to, I guess, hang out with me and all the other very cool people in the Discord. So if you haven't been, you're missing out. Again, don't be shy. Come on in. We only bite a little bit.